Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2021 Tiffin Allegro Red, we're going to be showing you how to install the Air Force One supplemental braking system just for the coach side. But before we do that, why don't we check it out and make sure that this is the right setup for you. So there's going to be a total of 5 main components needed to get your C-Max down the road behind your motorhome. First one's going to be the base plate, and the base plate's going to provide us with a solid and reliable connection point. That way we can hook our tow bar up to it. That tow bar is going to be the second component, and this is going to be the actual physical link that connects the front of our Ford to the back of our motorhome. The third main component is going to be safety cables, and these are pretty straightforward. You know, they're there in the event of an unlikely disconnect. They're going to keep everything paired together. The fourth main component is going to be your tow bar wiring, and what this is going to do is transfer the lighting signals from the back of your coach to the back of your Ford, keeping you safe and legal. And last but not least, the fifth main component is going to be a braking system, and what this is going to do is apply the brakes in your C-Max whenever you hit the brakes in your RV, helping to bring you to a more predictable and complete stop. So when it comes to the coach side of this kit, there's probably only 2 realistic situations that I can personally think of why you would need this. And the first one would be, you know, you already had your flat tow setup complete and everything like that. So you had the Air Force One, the whole kit on your coach side and your vehicle side. And, you know, put some miles on it and everything else, and end up wanting to upgrade, maybe get a newer RV, but keep your towed vehicle that already has the other side of the Air Force One on it. So, you know, as opposed to having to pick up a whole new kit for no reason, if the vehicle side is all good, you can get just the coach side. Hook up everything to your new motorhome, and then you're going to be good to go. You know, you can hook right up to your towed vehicle and hit the road. One of the other situations that I can think of is maybe somehow your flat towing already set up, and somehow the coach side of things got damaged, or you know, something like that, to where something happens and, you know, you'd rather just have all new components on the coach side, you know, give you that peace of mind. And that's exactly what this kit is for, you know, those particular type of situations. So, you know, if you fall into that category, you know, you're going to have the confidence that you're covered. Something that I found in the past that I think is worth mentioning is this particular kit is not going to come with a new air hose tether here. So, you know, if this was lost or you need a new one or anything like that, make sure to pick this up separately. And with that said, you know, if you need maybe the vehicle side of things, you know, there's a second kit available for that as well. You know, if your towed vehicle doesn't have it set up, but your motorhome already does, there's that kit. And then there's the full kit as well, you know, for the coach as well as the vehicle side. So regardless of the situation you're in, you know, you kind of got all your bases covered there, and there's a kit available for you. One of the really nice things about this system is the fact that it is truly proportional, and that's because it's going to work off of your RV's air brake system. So what that proportional term means is that the brake pedal in your C-Max is going to match the amount of pressure that you apply here in the motorhome. So just to kind of give you an example on, you know, how that would work, let's say, you know, maybe you're going down the road and you see a stoplight up ahead, and so you barely kind of get on the brakes just to kind of help come to a rolling type stop. C-Max is going to do the same thing. On the other hand, let's say if you're going down the interstate and maybe there's an accident up ahead or something like that, and you really got to come to a emergency type stop, and you really have to stand on that brake pedal to get things slowing down, the Ford is going to do the same thing. And so, you know, when it comes down to it, that's going to make your driving experience that much better. And I say it because you know, not only is it going to shorten your stopping distance, but your stopping is going to be much more predictable, and it's going to help you, you know, come to a complete stop actually. As far as getting the kit installed on the coach goes, it's really not too bad. There's not a ton of components. Probably the most difficult part about it is, you're just having to work underneath the motorhome. It's a little tight down there, but as long as you stay focused and remain patient, there's not a ton of time. It doesn't take a ton of time to get those things installed. So with that said, why don't we go ahead and hook everything up together now. To begin our motorhome install, we're going to be working here on the passenger side towards the back right here in this area, just underneath of it. So underneath the motorhome, just to give you guys another reference point, what we're going to be doing is mounting up our tank, and that's going to be located right here. So here's our tank mounted up, and keep in mind, every motorhome is going to be a little bit different, depending on the floor plan and everything else like that. So just keep that in mind. With that said, we want to mount the tank, up and out of harm's way. So in our case, we have this storage box here with some, steel support that runs around it. And so I just used 2 self-tapping screws to secure the bottom of our tank to the supports. And then I just fashioned just a bracket that runs from side to side, and use screws to secure the tank to that bracket. This thing is very solid, so we shouldn't have anything to worry about. Now we can start to route some of our air lines towards our factory lines where we're going to make a connection. So you want to make sure your hose is clean cut. Push that right in to the quick connect fitting. This line here, this fitting, that's going to go to our supply line from our motorhome. And this one here, this is going to get connected to the metered air on our motorhome. So we'll get to that in a minute, just keep that in mind. But with that said, this line and this line are going to come up and get routed towards the front of our motorhome. Now when you're routing these, everything's pretty open actually, but you want to make sure to do your best and avoid any hotter moving parts. So here's where our lines get connected to the factory lines. This is the metered air side, and this large one up here is the supply side. So you're going to take the included T's, cut those lines, and quick connect them and tee everything in. Now, the supply line is usually a lot thicker in green, and that's going to have consistent air pressure. The metered air, you're only going to get air pressure whenever you hit the brakes. So with the metered air one quick way you can check is you can disconnect it. This is a quick connect, and have someone hit the brakes, and if air comes out of here, that's the metered air. So once you identify that, before you cut these lines, so you want to make sure to drain your air tank so you can hit your brakes a whole bunch with the motorhome off, drain all that air pressure. That way when you cut the supply line, you don't have a bunch of pressure and stuff going everywhere. So pretty straightforward. Once you have these teed in, these connections are done. Back at our tank, we're going to have one more line to run. This one here, that one's going to run to the back of our motorhome where we have the fitting that will allow us to plug into our towed vehicle. So again, clean cut, push it in. And this one's just going to run along this wiring here, or just continue straight on back to the hitch of our motorhome. So that air line, like I said, gets routed all the way back here to the hitch and gets connected to our air fitting there. And this is pretty straightforward. I just used a what's called a no drill long bracket, clamped that around the hitch, bolted our fitting up to it, and plugged the air connector in. And this will finish up our look at and our installation of the Air Force One supplemental braking system just for the coach side here on our 2021 Tiffin Allegro Red.